Hello everyone, RegiTime here, and this is another Coaching RegiTime episode. Before we get started with it, I just want to make a point of how this is going to be a little bit different. It's just kind of a tester video for the format of how I've been playing the last couple of days to try and increase my volume. My volume's been really not great because I've been two tabling. It's not that fast. It's fast enough, but not super fast. And I felt like I was kind of treading water with it a little bit because I haven't got much time to play. And as you can see, it's currently 20 past 7 in the morning. There isn't even a 10-0 game running at the moment. There's no players in there. So we're going to play based on 5-0 this morning. We're going to be 4-tabling it with the tables tiled. It might make for a shit video in a really shit format, but we're going to try it out. And if you guys think it's okay, we'll run with it. If not, then I'll probably just put plenty of volume in 4-tabling, but then just make 2-tabling videos. So that's kind of what's happening in this video. We're just going to play 4 tables of 5-L just to kind of get some feedback on if the format's okay, because it's good for me to play, but I'm not sure it's going to be good in terms of you guys watching a video. So in just a moment we'll have 4 tables of 5-0 running and we'll go from there. So we're off and running, and what we have here is 4 tables of 5-L all tiled. So for me, it works better this way than having 2 tables because there's much less mouse movement and eye movement needed. I feel much less panicked when you're in like multiple pots or 2 pots at the same time, because you only ever have 1 table demanding your attention. I play without sound, so I don't have like beeping in the background like causing me to feel stressed either, and it works really well for me. Of course, you don't get to follow the action quite as well, and in terms of making a video, it might be pretty unsatisfactory to you guys because you're not going to see when people fold. There's things you're not going to see that you might want to see. It's okay while we're just fast folding through hands, obviously, but when we're in pots and we make bets and we want to see if a person's called or raised or folded, I can see it being quite irritating, but we'll see. I'd certainly appreciate some feedback on it at the end to see if it's a format you guys can get on board with. I'm going to stab the queens now. Let's check twice. I don't think a player would check a weak ace twice. Evidently he has checked something strong twice because he's now put the raise in. A trivial fold with the 2 queens. My results have been really good so far in the 10-L part of the challenge, but I've only got 5,000 hands in 6 days, which clearly isn't. It's going to take me a long time to get any kind of meaningful sample size. I mean, 10-L gate's a weird thing, party poker. There's no such thing as 50-L fast fold. 5-L gets good traffic all day and all night. 25-L gets good traffic all day and all night. 10-L kind of, it has a shelf life. It doesn't really get running till mid-afternoon, and it tends to stop running around 12:30 in the morning GMT. It's a strange thing. It really is. So it's not really ticking the boxes I wanted it to tick, which is give me something to do at the off-peak times. I'm going to check back this Jack 8-1. So if we see 2 checks, we'll take a stab. Completely whiff with the Queen Jack. Now we're getting to the road of trying to get people to fold full houses. And this is where it might get frustrating for you guys watching the video, because if I do make a bluff on the river, you're not going to get to see whether we win or lose. But I'm not going to make a bluff on this occasion anyway. Just because trying to get people to fold full houses, excuse me, wouldn't be a big part of my strategy at, well, any form of poker, any level of poker. And again, we bet those queens. It's probably just folded. But you guys aren't going to get to see that. Which is why I fear this format might not be a particularly good format for video making. super unlikely we're ever going to be weak here when we make this play, so I'm not going to make a particularly small squeeze size. No point trying to disguise the strength of your hand when your actions kind of betray it anyway. If the action you're taking can only ever really be a strong hand, when we're squeezing, try to squeeze out 3 people in the micro stakes, it's only ever a strong hand. There's not an awful lot of point in making it small and just pricing it, because all you end up doing is pricing everybody in and making life pretty damn difficult for yourself. As it turns out, we've got a pretty good result. We just got 1 caller. Deuce 4 Jack Rainbow. If he's somehow managed to flop a set on us, then we're just going to pay him off. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose this hand, but what can we do? We'll go back and check in just a moment. Soon see if we lost it. Oh no, we must have won because we're up $3. So he either folded or or he called and we won. Just gonna let the king queen go to the donk bet here versus somebody who's likely to be a fish. Completely whiffed with the ace king. Could see bet a dry board, I guess, but if we had a diamond on there, I would certainly see bet. No idea what this 5-cent bet means, but we're just going to call it. I'm going to see a turn. I'm going to call a 16-cent bet too. Mm. 3x. I normally 3 or 4 versus 3x's, but not versus this stack size. We're just going to call, which is not my usual strategy. A raise with top set here. I'm probably going to check raise with the ace deuce. That is a monstrous raise. We just fold to that. We've been squeezed with the queens. We've been 3-bet and called 4-bet actually. Just going to fold them. It might be what you think a bit of a nitty fold there, but very confident that it can't be a terrible fold. 5-0 when you get 3-bet and called 4-bet. Occasionally people might be getting out of line because it is a good spot to just 4-bet bluff from the blind versus the cutoff and the button. But I don't think enough people are doing it. I talked to enough micro stakes players to know that the cold 4-bet bluff is not something that's in most people's armory. So I'm just prepared to make some pretty tight folds when the cold 4-bet comes in. And I don't second guess myself. I just like, this is probably an okay fold. Even with the strongest queens, it's probably an okay fold. And I just get the fuck on with it and I don't worry too much about it. And if I make it, if I'm folding the best hand sometimes, well, fuck it. I'm folding the best hand. It's not something I'm doing a lot of. It's not going to hurt me too much. And most of the time, I'm probably not folding the best hand. Not a big fan of 3 betting versus pot size opens, but we'll give it a whirl. I called here pre-flop to just not make my opponent fold, basically. Too often we go for the 4 bet and people just fold when they're out of position. That is a not great turn, but we're not just going to let him get away with min betting it. This is pretty gross, but I guess we just have to call it off. It's all happening. And we must have won with the, we're now up to +9. So I'm presuming that the ace is held versus that strange line. What we'll do at the end of the video, we'll go back and we'll look at the big pots, or we'll go back and try and find the spots that we haven't seen the result of, and we'll see if we can figure out what happened in them. Still checking back the jacks. It's going to be hard to get paid here, but if he does have a hand like ace queen, he's probably going to call for just 15 cents. What is it with these fucking overpairs? So he overcards every time I have a high card, fucking high pair. The only overpair, the overcard hits, which is a bit of a motherfucker, but not much we can do about it. And in my life, we try to go through life not getting too pissed off about things that we have absolutely no control over. It's one of the silliest things you can do. Guess we're going to call that. I guess we're going to call the river 2, just because obviously the ace coming makes it less likely he's got one. And we did win. Not sure why he was betting the queen 9 of diamonds there on the river. Bluff value, fuck knows. But happy days. Yeah, so what we'll do at the end of the video, so you guys might, well, you might not want to fast forward to the end because you might miss some spots, but we will spend some time at the end of the video going back and just looking at the bigger pots quickly, just to see exactly what happened in them. And give myself and you guys some closure on, right, okay, we won that pot, but how did we win it? Did we fold? Did we get a call? Did we get a fold? Sometimes we might lose a pot that we thought we won because it's not the most reliable way to see which hand you won or lost. But being up 2.5 buy-ins in 177 hands is not unpleasant. In terms of a way to play my poker, this like 4 tabling tiled is a nice way for me. It just allows me to focus on one hand at a time whilst getting good volume. But it might not be great for videos like we talked about. I'm going to call with the ace 10 because I don't trust that player to fold. Again, a small sample size, but he hadn't folded to a 3 bet yet. Call with the 8s because the big blind looks passive and fishy. We go for a very small value bet there. We could end up value owning ourselves because lots of players will just like check call with pocket jacks, pocket queens, etc. on that board. But when he goes bet check, I'm quite happy to sometimes value own myself. Like the 3s go out of the small blind. It looks like we've got more of a Regish type player in the big blind. Bet here now with my gut shot and not flush draw. 70/10. Happy days. We like those guys in the pool. 70/40. 5-0. You're looking good this morning. Shame you're just 5-0. I'm not excessively asked about the limit to play these days. I've got my life set up in such a way where I can just play poker at whatever limits I want to play at and just enjoy it. Now, would playing 5-0 be my first choice? No, of course not. But as long as I'm in good games and having fun with it, it's not the worst way to spend a pleasant morning. Well, an unpleasant morning. It's pretty grey and wet outside today. What the fuck are you trying to represent here, sir? If this was a regular or someone with over 100 blinds in his stack, I would consider 3-betting there as a bluff because he doesn't rep very much. But because it's a fish, he might just have that 10 ball, and then we're in trouble. So we're going to check. Call. Just try and hit our miracle gut shot, and then hopefully felt him. And we do hit the miracle gut shot. I'm going to bet here, and we're going to hope not to get raised. Because if we get raised, we're going to have to fold. Going to be check raising our everything here. Not too fond of this. Player plays 10 and L2. He doesn't see better bunch, but I mean, you can't call with the 8-9 diamonds, flop and gut shot and a flush draw and just not be aggressive with it, especially versus somebody who probably has a reasonably wide range, given that they're a regular, they've opened from the button. I'm going to go for a squeeze here, although don't expect the raiser to fold, which then might mean you don't expect the caller to fold, so it might not be the best of squeezes there. Because we might not get through both players. We might just end up being called by both players, which isn't great. Not going to double barrel on a jack. I think it's a really bad card. He's not going to fold an ace. Now jack's got trips. They're just giving up, basically. We went for our C-bet. It didn't work, and then we got a pretty... well, not bad, but we didn't get a good turn card for barreling. (10/4) open limping. Jack Queen. Just gonna look it. And Jack Queen's probably way behind the 10/4's open limp range, and we end up just value owning ourselves way too often. Or just missing and whatever. Nothing much good happens there. I mean, if he was like 25/4, then obviously raising Jack Queen's a solid play. 10/4, not a big fan. Going to be hard to get value with my 7. I'm going to check, maybe call a bet, smallish bet. Not particularly scared of the queen. He shouldn't have queen X. He can have plenty of some draws that have missed, some random peels, some random floats. Sorry, not some random peels. Call with the 10-8 because the big blind looks like he might be slightly fishy. We're probably in trouble with the aces, but 3-bet pot, the guy's got half a stack. It's not like we're ever going to fold. And it looks like we won that one too. We are running hot this morning. If there's a fish in the blinds, I might call this bet the 6-8 suited versus a nip, but there isn't, so we're not going to. We get check raise, we've got top pair, second nut flush draw. Call, try and make a flush. I'm probably going to fold the river unimproved. Yeah, this isn't a line that I see people take as a bluff. Maybe we did well to avoid making the flush there. Maybe we were just drawing dead. Just talk more about that line. In nano stakes and micro stakes, and probably even higher stakes, who fucking knows? Check call flop, check raise turn, bomb river is almost never a bluff. I can't say never because some guys are using that line as a bluff, but in terms of like the 5NL, 10NL, 25NL population, there's just not almost none of those guys using the check call, check raise, bet river. No. Just don't level yourself. Just be like, you know what? I'm going to take my pot odds to try and make my flush on the turn and hope it's, you know, that when we make our flush, we're good sometimes, especially when it's like second nut flush. And when you miss it, don't be a hero, because it's just not a line that's synonymous with bluffs at these limits. It just really isn't. So don't be the donkey that goes paying them off all the time, because you're just going to be in a lot of pain. Going to be in a lot of pain if you pay off with just top pair good kicker in these games on rivers way too often. If I had our C-bet with the king queen, we missed. We've not picked up any equity on the turn, so we're just giving up. 3-betting the ace jack for value and isolation against someone who looks like they're a recreational player. No idea what this really small donk bet means, but we're going to see a turn because it's getting such a good price. And now we pick up the nut flush draw here, and we have top pair, so we're going to see a river. And he just bombs the river. And we're going to make a tight lay down. So far this session we haven't had much pressure put on us, and we've been making plenty of money, plenty of big blinds. So when people are applying pressure, because we've seen, well, we haven't seen yet, but we're going to see, I assume, at the end, just how cally people are. So when people are just cally, when populations that are generally just cally start betting multiple streets, it's usually not a bad time to just get the fuck out of the way. Not going to try and bluff on this board again. Again, it's just one of those boards where we fire once, hope to improve. We don't. We are going to empty the clip here, though. We might not need to empty the clip. The second bullet might well have done it, and then it doesn't. We get to do cool things like just jam these rivers. The beauty of being aggressive with draws, hopefully demonstrated right there. Vodafone doesn't have enough chips for me to set my reverses. Let me check this in a multi-way port just once. How do we get on with our 760? It's hard to say. Not a big fan of calling this bet, but we did check back the flop, so we kind of have to. Not a good flop versus uplifting. And this, given he raised under the gun and called a 3-bet, I'm not going to try and bluff him because his range is going to be a lot of pocket tens, pocket jacks, pocket queens, maybe some slow played aces and kings, although that seems unlikely given we block them so hard. Oh, I thought we had the nuts there for a moment almost. A raise fold, given his use such a poor sizing. I'm going to fold the jack 10 if he double barrels, even though we do pick up a gut shot. And we're just going to check down, expect to lose a decent amount, but not expect to get him to fold an ace or a king, obviously. So another hand we'll go back and look at the end. As you can see, this 4-tabling method is very relaxing and stress-free. There's no like, oh shit, I've got 8 million decisions to make at once. But we played 27 minutes, well, probably 25 minutes, discounting the intro. And we got up to like 404 hands already. We're getting close to 1,000 hands an hour, which is pretty fucking good. Considering it's like not at all it's stressful or panic inducing. I'm going to call once with the 9s. Probably not call a second time, even though this will be the second time. We're going to have allowed this guy to put pressure on us with some big bets. If you have seen any hands that you would like us to look at again that don't manage to make the review, please put a timestamp and I'll go back and look at it and give you a response in the comments. No problem. I do believe that's a set we've flipped. I'll fold the turn here. Pretty exploitable, but not too worried about being exploited. I'm going to hope that we're not betting into the nuts here on with the set of 9s. Look at the blinds, both regulars. We're going to 3-bet the Queen Jack just to avoid getting 3-bet ourselves. We're in trouble here with the 9s. We can't fold, but we're in big trouble. Pretty sure of that. Pretty sure we're going to be in trouble. Sorry about the slight glitch there. Someone rang the doorbell. Knocked at the door, you may well have heard. The 9s, we did lose. I expected to. I called the river, kind of knowing that we were never good, but it's a set. You might have 2 pairs sometimes, but given that our profit's gone down to $11, excuse me, yeah, it's a fair bet that he just had us dead. I mean, once we get check, raise, flop, and then he raises the turn, it's just one, you know, so unlikely that we have the best hand. I mean, it's just so easy. If we've just had 2 pairs there, our top pair would be the most trivial fold in the history of the world, but we have a set. It's kind of hard to get away from sets, even though we just don't beat anything that he's doing it for value. So yeah, we'll go back and look at that one for sure, but I'm a little bit disappointed that I couldn't find the fold. Not going to try and bluff this river. Hopefully we just hit some showdown value, although I expect to lose. Few backdoors here. We're going to bet once and then decide on the turn whether to continue. I'm not going to go for a semi-bluff here versus someone with his stack size. We're just going to take our pot odds and try and make our hand, which we do. Now we're going to go for a check raise. Shit river, but I mean, whatever. In she goes. And we win. Peel once with the ace queen because we do beat some draws, some like worse high cards it is just c-betting with. Check back turn, we don't need to bet really. We're head of ace jack, head of ace 10, head of king queen, lots of other things like that you can have. I'm tempted to raise the rivers to bluff. We're getting great odds. We're getting like nearly 4 to 1 on the call, so we're just going to bluff catch. Expect to lose a decent amount, but when we get in such a good price, it doesn't matter so much. If I had more chips, I might have raised there. Short stacker makes this kind of awkward, this sizing. I guess we're just going to jam. And the reason we're jamming there is just to try and get the other guy out of the pot who had like 100 blinds and just whatever versus the short stacker. Who knows what he's got? Find out later, I guess. What are we up to now? Looks like we won the flip though, if it was a flip, or who knows what. We won, that's the main thing. We don't know what against yet, we don't know what he did, but we didn't lose. We'll just call down here. We're going to hope we don't get like an ace or a king on the turn. It makes that difficult for us. But we're not folding. If he just goes bet, 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 and we lose to an overpair, then he goes bet, 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 and we lose to an overpair. He doesn't bet now, though. We're just going to jam. That might be a mistake. Just notice his stack size. That might be a mistake. Because we can't see better or anything. I'm not sure what I should have done there, but 4xing it doesn't seem great. King Jack suited out of position. Let it go, I think. I just hate calling 3 bets out of position. 2 callers, not ideal. Betting here, praying we don't get raised. We're not praying because I've got no religious bones in my body, but hoping we don't get raised. 3-bet the 6-5 suited. That is a shit river. We're just going to check fold now. And he does not value bet his flush on the end. Fucking well played, sir. Well played. Call the Queen 7 suited. Chase your flush. Hit it and check back. That is genius. I hate calling for chops, but there is a boat on board, so we will. To 18 somehow now. Guess our jacks might have been called by worse. Pocket 10 or something maybe. It's still going to stop in. In fact, we're going to do it now. We're going to sit out next blind all tables. And then we'll go back and we'll look at the hands that we played. Just to give the guys that are stuck with the video, just to give you some closure. Was I already sitting out of one table? Maybe it was. Maybe you didn't notice I was sitting out of one. Maybe we never sat back in one when the window cleaner came knocking. Who knows? Is that it? We all done? No, we've still got this one. Right, so we're back in a moment with some Hold'em Manager 2 imagery. So here we are with the Hold'em Manager part of the video. As you can see, this is like my overall since we started. We just ticked past the 5,000 hands. It's looking pretty good, to be honest with you. After like a pretty sluggish start, where we kind of crashed and burned against the fish in that the video 1 and perhaps video 2. I'm not sure. We've just had a really steady time of it. I'm pretty pleased with everything. Red lines okay. We're just about bang on EV, and I guess we better do this in big blinds now. Now we've got 2 limits. Yeah, we're running hot. It looks like we're having a bit of a good time. Here's my overall stats. We've $183 in 5,000 hands. We've got a ridiculous win rate right now, which clearly won't be sustainable, but we'll take it while it's lasting. 23-17, pretty lowish 3-bet, not too asked about that. High went to showdown, which I would expect in these games because people just don't fold as much. I'd rather it was a little bit lower, but it is what it is. And rake is fine. So yeah, pretty happy with all of that. Let's get back to closing some of these hands out that we had. Right, the jacks. This is just a matter of seeing what our opponents had. Ace 9 our opponent had in this. This is how many 4-betters, wasn't it? So that was the jacks. He had the Ace 9 and I'm not sure what was going on there, but whatever. We 3-bet the jacks, the aces here. Alright, I see. Whatever, and we just held. I just remember this, we bet the river, we raised the river for thin value when he made that bet, and we got called. Happy days. And looks like we just got a fold on this river, does it? Yep. To show the value of raising draws though, sometimes you get there. And this looks like the last of the biggish pots. Like 20 blinds plus. We're not going to look at all of them. That's where we defended. We've made the straight and we check raised. And we shoved the river and he called us with just the jack. Good stuff. Which is the last 250. Is there anything we've missed in there? We looked at the jacks. We haven't looked at the kings yet, have we? Alright. Totally standard, cool about looks of things. Yeah. Aces, I think we've seen. I don't recall this one. We raised, he 3-bet. Size where we just called with the 4-bet, wasn't it? Okay. Okay, and that's all them pretty much looked at now. I think, well, we got aces quite a lot, didn't we? So let's look at the ones that we lost. Excuse me. Yeah, this is the key one. This is the key hand of the session, isn't it? Well, not the key hand of the session, but the key losing hand. Yeah, he just flopped the nuts. At this point, I'm happy. This point, I'm sad. He just min raises the turn. I mean, I don't think we can fold our hand ever here. A, we're getting too much of a good price. I just bought up for a start. Way too much of a good price. And just who knows. Paying off a 14/9 when he min raises the turn. And I mean, why he doesn't jam the river is fucking beyond me. I guess we just got lucky that he didn't put the other 220 in. I mean, he sets it up. This is a big mistake. If you're doing this, by the way, don't do this. He's set it up so he can just shove the river. He's got 522 in the pot. There's 468 in his stack. We clearly have something. We've check raised the flop. We've bet called the turn. We don't have air here, you know, and he just doesn't shove the river. It's a big mistake. He needs to be shoving that river all of the time. He wants to be doing that with any random bluffs he has. He needs to be doing that with his made hands too. I think he's made a big mistake there, but we'll take it. He's let us off 220. We're not going to argue at that. And this was a Queen 7, wasn't it? We saw that one right at the end. No idea what the fuck he didn't bet the river for. Yeah, that's just fold. I guess I won't mind seeing what this guy had. He had the Queen Ace. Yeah, whatever. 6/4. He's having fun, isn't he? Jazzy's dad. Have more fun with poker. Don't play 6/4, sir. Yeah, so that's it. We've looked at all the hands. We've hopefully given you guys 5 or 6 minutes of closure on it, and I've got to brag about how hot I'm running. So yeah, happy days to everybody. We're not going to do any database analysis yet over 5,000 hands, but needless to say, it's going well and I'm enjoying the series. We'll leave it there and we'll be back next time. Please do let me know what you think of this format, because I like playing it. Not sure it's great for videos, but if we're to do the 4 tabling and then the quick session review at the end, if that's an okay format and you guys get some closure with that, please let me know, because I'd be happy to continue doing that at both 5 and 10NL just to get tons of volume in during my downtime. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye for now.